Now, with the Comcast girl, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I told you there's one or two ways I could have showed up, but even if it's a female, it's her job, right? Now, the problem is, if I'm blacked out 20 minutes later, we never, right? The girl has a job to fix the TV, right? And the reception, right? Something's wrong, right? Now, I know not even if, right. It is a female to show up at the door naked. I'm going to put on my shorts. But I'm going to not have underwear on. That's not the problem either. See, all that means is whoever interfered with me and her did so like they were protecting her from me when they didn't need to, right? Same with the girl, again, right? When I went to the nail salon, right? You're acting like you have to protect her from me, but the only place we could do something is in the bathroom, and that's the whole point, right? And even then, I would have to ask her, do you want to go to the bathroom with me so I can show you something, right? Now, the question is, did we, right? And the difference between her and the Comcast girl is I, again, would still tell her the story, but I would be dressed in my shorts, right? The problem is, right, if I convince her to have sex with me, but to the door closed first, because I know that, right, and told her the story, we had sex during the 20 minutes, I don't recall. But the question is, why was I blacked out in my shorts on, right? So did she have sex with me and then it became regret sex? I don't know. With her either. Right? Now, what you're confused about is the law of Moses versus what Paul's talking about in the new, which he's addressing new Christian converts. So that's what's confusing you, right? Yes, it is. See, it don't change the law of Moses if you're a Jew and following the law of Moses. Either way, what Jesus taught, right? What's confusing you is it doesn't offer premarital sex in the law of Moses, but you're calling it sexual immorality to say people can't do it now. You can't do that, right? See, the law is what it's all about. Even in Jesus' day, they weren't allowing for premarital sex, which might be why he had sex with the woman at the well. That's what I'm thinking really happened. That's why John mentioned it, right? And the woman caught in the act of adultery, they're trying to stone by herself without bringing the bell. See. You can't just stone her alone. Plus, unless Jesus is her husband, he can't do nothing about it either, right? Plus, Roman law prevents any other people under their rule to carry out capital punishment in their religion anyway. Yeah, no, yes it does. So there's 3 reasons Jesus couldn't do nothing about it anyway, besides the fact that, again, she wasn't even his wife, maybe, right? That's what you're saying, right? Okay, fine, that's not the problem, right? Only her husband can stone her. I told you that before, right? And why? I know. Now, the immoral mind is the enmity against the Torah, the law. The law of Moses was established before any other laws, right, besides Ananias, right, you know what I mean, as a merciful but necessary thing for the Jews, right? And it's their law, right? By the way, not yours, not the Christians, right? Though Paul does point out if you carry out the law of Moses, right, which is what we're talking about, and it allows for premarital sex, what if we're under grace, right? And all you got to do is confess your sin to be forgiven of the sin, right? If you call it a sin, right? So if I have sex with the girl or not, right, and I know to show up dressed or I get in trouble, she could say I showed up undressed and tried to rape her, right? But if I show up dressed, she can't say I tried to rape her even, right? But if I talked her into sex as she's trying to do the job, that's different too, right? If I showed up dressed first. But now the thing is, my shorts, And, if I went into the bedroom, right, or pulled them down and we had sex in the living room or the bedroom, right? Because when I come to, I'm in the bedroom, right? Now, I'm still going to tell her my story, right? Period, no matter what sex the person is, right? The difference is, I might have had sex with the girl, and she said yes, right? Or not. Now, I do know not to show up at the door naked, right? Right. But if I have on shorts, they're shorts I could easily slip on or off, right? It don't mean I have on underwear. But I don't have to. It's called going commando, and it's not. As long as you can't see the penis, that's what it's all to cover, right? Even with Sheeta, I was wearing a bikini brief for males. Did that confuse you? I hope not, but it could have. I was wearing a Speedo for a male. I hope that didn't confuse you any. But I have worn it to the beach and to the river before I joined the Navy. It was probably the same one, right? And I still can fit in it. I can't now, but wouldn't even worry about it now, right? And we'll probably wear more swim trunks, right? But the difference is simply this, right? Intent matters with God. If you're telling a girl, I love you, just to get to her pants, that's wrong. That's immoral. But if you're trying to marry a girl and you want premarital sex with her, the Bible says you can do that even if you entice the girl and then lay with her, right? And then you're to ask her father's hand in marriage, right? That's what premarital sex is allowed. And it's allowed legally in the law of Moses, see? That's what the laws, when it talks about the law, that's what it's talking about, right? The rules are based on the Torah, not your interpretation of it, right? That's what Paul meant too, right? Now, if you're with a virgin, she's not a whore or a prostitute or a slut either, right? Because she's having premarital sex with you, asshole. If anyone makes her a slut, it's you if you break up with her, right? And don't even try to ask her hand in marriage of her father, right? And that's the point too, right? That's immoral, yeah. If you do not intend to marry the person, right? But what ain't and is a matter of attitude, right? Between the two partners, right? If the male's just trying to fuck the female, yeah, that's wrong, right? But if the female trying to fuck the male, that's equally as wrong, right? So you can't do it both ways, right? Now, let's say Norma Jean and me, I was liking her, right? But I'm younger than her, right? Her dad would refuse that, real committed relationship. But the only way me and Norma Jean could have had sex is if I'm sleeping on the couch and he comes in there and we have sex, right? When I'm asleep. But I don't remember that. I wouldn't accuse Norma Jean of that. I don't know she did that really. Though I did break up with Molly. Sorry. And me in the house, right? Now, would it be easier for Molly to undress me and have sex with me while I'm asleep? Or me to undress her if she's in full pajamas? I wouldn't even really, push that, right? If she's in full pajamas, right? But if I'm like, just lightly dressed and she undresses me and has sex with me, that's the part I don't remember, Molly. Maybe, or Norma Jean, right? And the difference is awareness, right? Okay, if someone's half asleep or fully asleep, right, then, and the thing is, the penis works will make her asleep. It's called a boner, or a wet dream if you're erect while sleeping. The difference is, right, you can also, if you're gentle, stimulate the man while asleep and he get erect, right? Now, if you're riding him, you understand what I mean, right? You're being the aggressor, right? Now, I'm still going to tell the Comcast girl the story, right? What I don't know is, did we have sex or not? Or did she just nut up on me and undressed me suddenly? Because I know I got to put on my shorts. And I would tell her I put on my shorts when I was coming. And again, right? And I already had on the shirt, right? So why am I the same, right, when I come to without the pants on, right? 22 minutes later, right? That's what I'm trying to figure out here, right? Now, I was still introduced myself. Hi, I'm Shane Lee. Who are you? Blah, 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 blah. I don't even remember her name. But see, if I talked her into the sex during the time, the actual sex act, even with foreplay, could be 10 minutes, right? If we just did it once with her on top, possibly, right? I did her again, right? But that means 10 minutes of discussion about my life, and like I said, it don't take 10 minutes to kind of explain all this, does it? Mm-hmm. Why do you think I keep repeating the same stories, right? Now, the difference is, there was a stick in the bathroom she could have hit me with, right? And then left to get dressed, right? Before I came to a few minutes later, right? That would take 3 minutes, say, to get redressed for her, too, right? And then that's still 17 minutes, right? And maybe 7 minutes for the conversation and 10 minutes for sex, right? I don't know. And maybe only once for the sex, too. But again, right? I would ask her permission either way. And I know not to show up naked because then she could say some guy was trying to rape me, right? No. And showed up to the door naked, right? But if she consented, it's because I showed up dressed, right? And talked her into it, maybe, right? But see, the third option will be what? Someone else showed up, right? And they blacked me out instead and was arguing with me and the woman that we wanted sex, right? But who would do that? See, she would know who did it. You know what I mean, girl? So, why do you think I keep calling you Comcast girl? You know who did it. Not me. And it's got to be someone close, right? Sarah, Rose, Maria. Mom would have to drive over from where? Rincon, right? That's a 5-10 minute drive, even before she got here, right? So whoever it is one of the neighbors being nosy, right? It's either Sarah, Barbara, Rose, or Maria and Matt, right? You know? They have cameras too, right? I'm not sure if Barbara does, but I know. Though again, right, that's all I can say, right? See, when I try to figure something out, I'm going to assume, right, that I know the person came to the door, right? I know to go to the door dressed, right? I know to, even if it's a female. But what I don't know is what happened once she got in and was supposed to do the job. And again, when she left without doing the job, right? And even then, right, I would know certain things, right? Or remember certain things, right? I don't normally black out 20 minutes after someone arrives, so too much capable. But even if we had the sex like in a fantasy or a porno, like I said, right, I will still show up at the door dressed, like the woman does in video, right? They don't undress until they get in the house. Right? And talk the person into the sex, right? Usually did. But Now, the only ones who could interfere is if they saw the female walking through the door, then they come and try to interfere, right? And that would have to be the immediate neighbors, not my mom, because when Lincoln, right? And she has to drive here, right? So it couldn't be her, right? By the time she got here, it'd be too late, right? So it's got to be immediately interfering, right? With my love life, right? And that's what they're doing, right? See, they're confused about the Bible. I've read the whole thing, cover to cover, right? And see, the law ain't talking about a casual law, but the law of Moses, right? Well, read it. It does tell you what you can and can't do, right? And it never said you couldn't have premarital sex. In fact, it says, if you do have it, just ask the girl's hand in marriage, right? Of her father, right? Depending on her age, right? Right? If she's unbetrothed, right? That's what it means. That's what it means. It spells it out for you in black and white, right? If a maid, a virgin, right? Or if you're not a virgin but ain't had a baby yet, still counts, right? Okay. See what I mean? Right. And you're unbetrothed, right? Not engaged. We would say that today. Mm-hmm. And you have sex before marriage, right? You ask the person's hand in marriage, as I did with Sheena or with, right? Every girl I had sex with. Practically. So some of them had a man, and I did it anyway. Well, I don't know, right? I'm horny, and I know it. And so is she, I guess. I mean, come on, it don't happen every day, but it has. But like I said, right, when I got to the store, the problem ain't the nail job. The problem is the extra hour in the store where I don't know what the hell happened. That's the problem, right? It's not when I got there, it's when I got out was late. Or way later, an hour later, right? Including the nail job, right? See, I had a plan that only something in that store could interfere with, right? There's only one thing I know I would do instead of see the movie that day, if the girl was interested, right? And I would again ask her, like she was a 37-year-old woman, college graduate from New Jersey, like she said, right? Now, if she was 15, who lied? She did. Now, if she wasn't qualified by the standards of Georgia, she was also doing the job illegally, right? And that's why she lied. And she knew she didn't have the paperwork for the right. I didn't know. But then that becomes the blackmail things, right? People can do that too, right? She's not trying to be with me because he loves me. She's trying to blackmail me. Yes, she did. And if it's her responding like I told you, or her dad, right, or something, right, that's the lie. See, you're supposed to qualify her, right? So she could do it at 15, 16, or any age she wants to do it, but she's got to be qualified to do it, right? In Georgia. You can't just work her because you have a store with women doing nails in it who are qualified, right? They're all supposed to be qualified, by the way. Not that I'm going to check their licenses with you. I wouldn't think of that either, right? It's what she told me, and I was thinking they were messing with her. That would make me invite her into the bathroom to show her something anyway. And if she went, she consented, right? See, that's consensual sex, right? With what I thought was a 37-year-old woman, right? Working in a nail salon, right? And she agreed. That's also why it would take 15 to 20 minutes with her, right? Inside the bathroom, but we'd also come out and then go back to the nail job, right? I don't need a camera because of the time. I told you that too, to know if something happened here, right? If something happened here, right? And we wouldn't do it out in the open. We wouldn't have sex in front of all the women. We would go into the bathroom. Now, you might have to worry about it if she liked it or not. Her telling the other women, and then them trying to have to, I don't know. But I'm only into her, right, when I went in anyway, right? She's the girl of the dream, right? But she's making it a negative dream for me to be with an Asian girl. It became that with Mary Bell because she wouldn't commit, right? It was fine for a while, for 18 months almost, right? I say 17, right? The last time I went was in August, and that's when we got caught, right? Now, see, the problem isn't me, but who is she really dating? Steve, Bart, Miles? I don't know. And we got caught in the motel room. Come on. But like I told you, with what she showed me, the child could be mine, right? That's all I can say about it too, right? Unless you give me other information that shows he's not, right? Now, if you look mixed, right, like Miles and your mom, I would know he was it, right? For example, right? But then you said it was someone else. And you're supposed to say, well, I slept with someone else. That's fine, right? I understand, right? But I'm the last one you're with, and you're with another guy 3 months later, and it traces back to 2 weeks after we were last together. It's probably my baby, right? And I still do, for you, use the word probably. Right? I'm not 100% sure. It is a little off, but I don't know. It's the reverse of what happened with Daphne with you, right? Yours was 2 weeks after we were last together that the baby started developing, right? Well, Daphne's was right away. When we started having sex right away, right? From the 15th on. Now I realize what I did wrong. I thought we got pregnant in March. I told you that. Dude, we were having sex pretty much off and on the whole time, even in the apartment, right? As a husband and wife do, right? And like I said, the Bible doesn't allow for premarital sex until you can get married sometimes, right? Right. Unless Amanda or someone else showed up, why would Daphne show up? She's supposed to be somewhere else, right? And the Comcast girl was around April 20 of 21, right? I don't remember the exact day now. Come on, right? Like I said, details after a few years kind of becomes blurry anyway. And then it's 11 years after my ex-wife and I broke up that this starts on YouTube, right? Come on now. Listen. Or you're putting your fantasies into my life. I don't know what you're talking about. Nor does the ex, right? And see, statutes of limitations runs out even on molesting a child with no evidence, right? So you gotta have evidence I touched her and can touch her without interfering with her normal sleeping patterns, right? See, that's what you do anyway. You go and wake up the daughter and try to molest her, right? Well, she would have to come in there and molest me, right? Almost to wake me up, right? That's what I mean, right? But who would remember if she did come in there to meet the mother? Now, Daphne, I didn't touch her, even if I'm getting a little confused about it now, right? And I would have to ask her who showed her that. Who raised her? Grandma. Grandma. If she said grandma showed her that, it's innocent. It's just not pedophilia. It can't be. Unless you think your mother taught her that. Or your dad or her dad. I mean, come on. It's either your dad or her dad, the other two people who are outside of this who could have showed her that. But why? Well, the only reason would then be what, right? Entrapment for both of us, right? They're trying to get us both in trouble. But they didn't if I didn't do nothing, right? See, they can't know I touched her or not, right? And then I'm having to make it up, like I said. Making it up don't mean I touched her, Daphne. And of course, she can be going a little crazy about it if she didn't catch us or not, or didn't have the video, like I said. But it's not true. It's not true. I keep trying to tell her that too. I'm not really trying to be. Now, another thing about the Bible is even Satan used it against Jesus to try to get him to jump off the Temple Mount. Remember that? Right. Well, you can also put it together in the wrong way, right? Now, you're talking about immorality. Being with the whore, unless you're Hosea or Samson, could be a mistake. I don't know. I don't judge, right? But again, Paul's saying, right, for the New Testament Gentiles, okay, don't do prostitution, basically, right? But the Old Testament, it depends on why you're doing it, like I told you, right? I did pay for it with some of the women, but why, right? You know, it's only $120 or $20 or $50 or right? Is that more than you would pay for a date with the girl? No. Right. So what was that? Mm-hmm. Prostitution or just paying a girl for, you know, hang out with you for a little bit and then leave, right? Mm-hmm. But having sex with her too, right? It depends on the, again, arrangement of the couple, right? Now, like in Beaches with Barbara Streisand, where she was, I think, playing the prostitute, right? Man can give you gifts legally. I just gave $120 or $50 or $20. That's a gift. That's not a high price call girl where you can pay $1,000 or shit, or $500 or $700 or right, something like that, right? Now, even when I go to the strip club, right? I go for the lap dances. I usually just do one or two, right, depending. Now, if I want to do the smaller ones, I'm still on the budget, or don't go at all, right? If I'm just out of my budget, right? Like I said, but I only did that because I did that in the Navy. See, like with Samson or Hosea, I'm having that pattern, right, kind of pop up, right? So what I'm saying is, I'm a single male. I'm not married, right? It's still under the law. Even if I have premarital sex with the stripper, right? It don't say you can't. I know it don't. If you're trying to also date the girl, right? You understand, there's a difference, right? The difference is attitude, right? The difference is what your state of mind is and the person you're with is, right, too. Right. Now, if, again, I do remember Maria was one of the strippers' names, right? But not this Maria, but another Maria, again, common name, for Hispanic women, right? Looky, girl. But you do know, right? Why is honesty always the best policy, right? If you confess your sins, he's what? Faithful and just to forgive your sins, right? And you forgive others to be forgiven, right? If you condemn, why do you condemn yourselves? That's what you don't understand, ain't it, right? You're perfect? No one is. We're all dealing with the fall of Satan. Even God to do this right. We're not perfect yet. Now, what does Jesus say about Jezebel's children that she has in adultery? What will happen to them? They will die the death. They will die a death. Right? Abortion could be part of that prophecy, you understand, right? And God would allow it because Jesus and John said it would happen for a woman who thinks she's with the wrong man or whatever reason she wants to abort the baby, right? It's her body, right? Same thing. And it's a fetus. See, a fetus goes through development processes, right? It looks no different than a tadpole at one point. Seriously. I know. But you might would kill a bunch of bullfrogs, right? That's still murdering the bullfrogs, right? You understand, right? If they become a nuisance, right? Well, our population, this is part of why, too. We're 7 billion now, right? Okay. Now, what you do, A, the girl ain't a Christian, right? You cannot force someone to do something of a religious nature just because you think it's right for everyone else to do it. Either. So you didn't establish the law, Moses did. So then we go to the Bible. Is there an example in the Bible where a child, like with Bathsheba, right, and David, right, died before he could be circumcised or something? Yes, there is. So like with the disciples picking corn, Jesus used David, right, and the showbread, right, that was unlawful for him to eat, right? Okay. So I'm wrong, or are you wrong, right? See, not every woman will do the abortion, but the ones who are supposed to will, you understand? Right. Maybe they're supposed to for whatever reasons, right? Don't worry about it. It's all part of the plan. And I think it's a 3-week plan, 21 days or 21,000 years, right? We got total. And see, there's 2 millennial reigns, right? 8,000 years, right? Is one Sabbath day to another, right? Okay, we're waiting for Jesus' return, but we might have to wait 3 days, right? Why? Day is 1,000 years, right? Now, they just want to rebuild the temple now, but they're jumping the gun, but that's where they got to worry about the beast and all that, right? And see, we're that generation where they want to rebuild the temple, right? But when John was on Patmos, the temple was destroyed, and that's what he's talking about, rebuilding the temple. Chapter 11, my chapter. Your chapter. Maybe. The dream could have something to do with it, right? Without the dream, you're nothing, right? With the dream, you might have a leg to stand on. Even if you fall 3 stories. 2 1/4, whatever. But who's the one to fall, and who's the one to come down willingly and go back up, right? Jesus. Who was showing himself to Israel. Satan drowned it. Suicidally. But even the unjust, even the suicidals will be resurrected, and during the last week get to have a chance to repent, right? Because God keeps the record of wrong. Only the bad guy does to punish you, right? He also causes you shame, or to think you're doing something wrong, and God won't forgive you. And God won't forgive you. Wrong. If you confess it, he'll forgive you, right? But if you're on the couch, I keep telling you this, the child has to wake you up, right? Even if it's out of curiosity and the mom's asleep. I don't know why, right? She would, but she could, right? Like, the whole thing is I could have molested her, but didn't, right? And this is the only final possibility if Daphne's mad about me saying something. But don't be, right? The anger ain't that we did something, then, right? She knows we didn't. You don't want to believe us. At times, we're both saying we didn't, right? So, I want her to date a guy her age anyway. I keep telling her that. I don't know what you're ready to give me up. But if she shows up seductively, right, and we have sex, right, I don't even know. Shit. Right. And she would definitely be old enough now to have sex with any man, right? Not just me, not just you. But I wasn't expecting her to either, Daphne. You're acting like something more happened. that I can remember, and the only thing that could happen is when I blacked out 20 days later, right? Why do you think I'm learning all this about the Lord, too, right? You're trying to make something happen, maybe, right? That shouldn't happen, right? And if you attack me over it, last thing I remember was trying to get into the room, right? So, like, with, what's important to you might not be important to him, right? You understand, right? But I don't have a reason to. I'm scared of her. That's why I'm sleeping on the couch, not her and me, right? She's not even apologizing either, so that's why I'm on the couch, right? Not to get to her daughter, because he's in there with her. You just can't do that, right? And it might piss you off, but no. Last thing on my mind is even that she would even come in there, right? Why would she have to disturb me, right? The bathroom and the living room, the couch is across from the living room, at the other side of the living room. On this side of the wall, the bathroom was way over there, so like I said, you would have to go straight to the bathroom, right? Hey, that's suspicious. Don't that seem kind of weird anyway? I can't say right. See, a tape would prove she was trying to entrap me. If there ain't one, it don't matter, right? Could be innocent, right? I don't know. I know. See, that's the point, right? Only way the ants life can remember is if you actually went in there, right? To wake her up, to wake her up. But that don't mean I did. I mean you do, right? See, that wouldn't be a big deal to me as it would to her. Like I told you in the first place, Stephanie, right? That would be a bigger deal to you if your daughter said to her grandma, "I told her to wake me up," and you would be more upset with that, right, than I would, right? But I wouldn't even necessarily remember it 11 years later when I went on YouTube. I'm just saying this non-disclosurely, right? I could have molested her but didn't, right? That's the one's born up the wazoo, right? First, we gotta figure out who it is, right? Okay, we got the biological dad, the granddad, the mom in the apartment, right? The grandma ain't in the apartment, but no. She would be the one to probably actually take care of the child. You understand what I mean, right? And if she went in there to me, she would probably say, "Grandma's heard of that, right?" No big deal, no big deal. Right. Unless they make it a big deal, right? And I don't know who it is, right? I'm just giving you examples, right, of things, right, you normally do or do not have to deal with. And see, they have the satanic mind and don't realize that, do they? They're thinking like the devil, right? Not like God, right? Jesus is trusty, right? Even with Peter, though he knew what he was up to, he let him do it too. You can't stop the plot. And 1 minute he's saying, "Blessed art thou, son of Bar-Jonah," right? But then he's calling him Satan, right? Get thee behind me, Satan, you say we're not the things of God, right? Now, what Peter probably thinks, and this is how you would probably think too, right, is he was supposed to let him be betrayed, right? Okay, do you see? But David talks of it as a real betrayal, too. But is it? To be the Messiah, he had to become, according to Isaiah 53, the suffering Messiah, right? To take upon our transgressions, right? Israel. You can't even offer up animal sacrifices once a year anymore. Your sins are no longer being atoned anyway. That's why Jesus died for you in place of the sacrificial system. He knew Rome, if you continued on the path you were on, would destroy your temple. And spoke as much. And you can't use the old to build the new. You gotta tear it all down, prideful. But the will of the Lord must be done, right? Not your own will. Even if I'm one of the two witnesses, I can't go to Israel or Jerusalem until it's the actual time, right? And even I don't know the day or the hour, or the approximate day or the hour, or even for that, right? But it ain't me alone. It's for people. Those who walk by sight don't see what I'm saying, but candlesticks and olive trees aren't just decorations for a temple. They represent a male, two males, and two females, too. So that's where you're blind. Metaphors are blinding you in the Bible. Yes. Even when the Bible says something direct, like a man can spill the seed before eating, right? By himself. It's okay if he does it, right? He's just unclean, wash himself, anything gets on. Skin, garment, clothing, dresser drawers, whatever. It's okay. Just clean it, right? You're clean, right? Till evening. Don't sound serious either, does it, right? No, it don't. So if you're under grace, you can masturbate, right? And handle your business in private, right? That's all I'm saying. And you're not reading it, though. The whole point about following something is either we all follow it or nobody is, right? Too. Or you're making up new laws, right? You're doing that too, right? Immoral people will tell you it's wrong to abort the child, and they're not wrong in saying that. But again, the other side of the coin must play out too, right? The bad and the good. The tares and the wheat are growing up together, Christians, right? Who's the tares? Who's the wheat? Do you know? And both reproduce. The difference between a tare and a wheat is we can eat the wheat, not the tare. It's a plant too. The enemy sowed the seed. When the master was asleep, when did the sin happen? When the Lord rested on the seventh day. Damn. You know what I'm going to point out, right? So is Jesus. So is Jesus. That's another metaphor you don't get, right? It applies to the city, right? But having Jonathan ain't the sin, Daphne. Even if your daughter has a baby or two, I'll be like, I don't know. All right. But like I said, I don't know, right? But the problem is, we're no longer married. You're my ex-wife, right? You would even call her my ex-stepdaughter, right? Technically. Now, what Moses is saying, he does say, do not lie with a mother and her daughter. Why what? Married to the mother, right? Now, I ain't even been around the daughter to marry the daughter. But if the daughter came to me, Mom, Mama D, why? Let it go. Someone won't let it go. And I'm trying to get you to let it go, right? You're even agreeing that could happen, then you're going back and forth, right? Whoever this person is, they have issues and they need to see a therapist themselves, right? If she did, she did, right? If she didn't, she didn't, right? And anyone can come to the house, right? Who can drive a car or fly to Georgia. Now, the thing is, Amanda, though, if you do fly to Georgia, they would know. I just would be the one not to that, right? But then they would be like, well, why are you going to Georgia, right? You know what I mean, right? Not saying you did. I know. Right, but that's what she would have to do to actually be with me, idiot. It's like Renee, and she's 2 hours away, right? Whatever, right? Almost over an hour, right? And even if she drives fast, right? And cuts it down to under an hour or something. So, if she were to come here, I would still resist her. I told you that too, right? She's my sister, right? You resist her because she's your sister, right? And you try to talk to her and figure out what's going on, right? You don't just try to fight her. Even Shonda, right? You don't just try to have sex with your sister. You try to talk to them about it, right? Well, here's what I would have to tell Shonda about Bobby. I did ask Daddy if we could marry one day, right? Me and Shonda, though, not me and Renee. Not you and Renee. Like I said, right? Only way that could happen is sneaking into the living room while I'm sleeping and struck a Mr. D and I gets rising, right? And then I don't even know she came in, right? And then go back to the bedroom. I know. But I'm guessing that, right? I was really asleep in the living room most of the time, and then, I don't know. But it is right next to her room, right? But I never went to her room, right? I don't know. Not at night. Not at night. See, that's creepy if your brother's trying to get into your room and the door's closed, whether it's locked or not, right? I don't even know it was locked or not, but... Now, Jennifer's room I know was locked, but that's a different scenario, right? But I'm still on the couch, right? Or the living room area. We keep bringing this up a lot because dads or, neighbors or, right, friends take the couch when they're in a fight with their wife. So what part of the story sounds unusual? That the daughter would wake me up? Or Jennifer would come in there after I've touched her leg? Like I said, that sounds weird, doesn't it, right? Mm-hmm. But I did, and I can explain it to her, but I don't recall explaining it to her, but I did later on tell her why, but I know. Both situations, and I did it one more time, right? At her grandmother's house, I think, right? Mm-hmm. But we were in the bedroom, but I just touched her leg again, and then I was trying to explain it again, right? And then I did I caught her from Roddy's and Donna's once, I think. I know. After I got out the Navy, too, right? But then she got married, she moved to South Carolina, and, right. Moved on, right. And I didn't see her or Jennifer. Right. And I'm also missing a book I'm waiting for, right? On the book, right. And, supposed to be here the 27th, I think. But it could be tied up somewhere, I guess. Okay. Mm-hmm. Have a good evening.